Hi everyone. So today I want to work on a few of the things, or start working, I guess. Let me move this a little bit. A few of the things that I've been picking up, and this is something I got a while back. It's a Autoship for Diamond Press for whenever we first picked up the Marquise, which is almost a year ago now. Well, let me think. I guess it was a year ago, but there's still one more Autoship on this guy. Was it March, April last year? Anyway, I don't know that I'll have a link for it. I haven't seen that they brought back any of the Autoships, really. I think I've seen them like on my Diamond Press, but not so much on HSN. But any links I have in the description box will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. So I've been wanting to try this one out. This is one I've been waiting for. I've been super excited about because it was so cute. And then the last time around, I think we got the dye, the oval dye that helps us make mats within the ovals, which is great. Or even make the oval into a frame, really, I think. But anyway, this is the inspiration kit. And then the next one is another kind of floral, kind of sweet kit. I don't recall the name, but maybe it has to do with spring. I don't know. It's really pretty. So and then that will be the last one. So April will be the next one. So I've already gone through it whenever I got it in the mail, when it got delivered with you guys, but I will do that again really quickly. I already picked out paper, as you can see. So we have, this is why I was waiting for this one. So cute. And the little butterfly that has the two separate wings, and I believe it can layer back over this guy. We have the little leaves, a couple different sets of leaves. The flowers, where's the other flower? There he is. And then the little frame. Again, they're all interchangeable. Sorry, I was gonna yawn. It's early. And it has all the little flowers on the side. I love that. So cute. I love the little stitching on these. So we're gonna definitely use these today, and you'll see the stitching better. Little banner. Again, you can, this isn't something you have to use with these particular stamps, like kind of the way I look at these is like the strips and banners, or banners and strips set that I have from that I picked up from Tonic, where whatever I stamp, I used to go back and see which of those fits with it, and I can cut it out, and then it's cute, just pop it on your card. And then this little one, dream big and something believe. You know how I am. Believe in yourself. There we go. Really cute. So again, that does come on a magnetic mat that has the little holes that you can put in your smaller binder, and then it has the envelope, and I always love that it has the pouch or envelope pocket, because all of this stuff fits into the pouch. That's how I keep it. So I keep it with this, and I keep those on there, and I keep it in my ring binder, so everything's together. But the stamps, again, really cute. Oh, look at that one. I hadn't noticed that was an artsy stamp. So I was gonna do something simple today because I have another comment recently, and I thought, maybe this will be a good way to kind of work with that comment, but I'll show you in a minute what I mean. Life is tough, but so are you. You were made for this. You're awesome. They have the butterflies, the little spray. It's some cute little, again, stuff I would put on an envelope. I would definitely use that. Hello, best of luck. Today's your day. That can go in that little banner. You got this. You do small things with love. Oh, I love that. Keep going. Wonderful. Keep going. Again, did I already say keep going? That's weird. Oh, because there's two of them. There's one here and one here. When I said it, I thought, did I just say that? Amazing. So kind. And then the little banner that you can also cut out. You don't have to stamp it, but you can if you want. And then we have the embossing folders, and that's probably what I'm going to use today. I'm probably going to use this one, and I'll show you why, but there's an embossing folder. So this whole area should be raised. Whatever you see like in that blue is what's going to be raised. And the flowers and the pretty little butterflies that go right back to the style of butterfly that's in the stamp, which I think is really fun. Even the die cut, the look of it. And then it comes with a folder, of course, and then it comes with an inspiration sheet. And that's kind of what I want to talk about right now. I think normally what happens is things come in. Whenever I pick up an item, like I buy it myself for review, I'll try it out in a way that sticks to the instructions, because that's what we get. Hardly ever, even when I do reviews of items for companies, like pretty much I stick to the instructions, because I know a lot of times people will watch it, and if something goes wrong, they're going to be like, then why'd you do it that way? The instructions say this. So I always do the instructions, and then especially like Anna Griffin, people will say, well, Anna did it this other way. And I'm like, well, that's what the instructions say, So I pretty much stick to the instructions. And then I try to, if it's like a card thing or something like this that's a little more loose, then I'll just make up my own design, right? Like what I want it to look like or however. Of course, that's what everyone does. But I did get a comment yesterday. I haven't responded yet, so maybe I will by the time this video's up. And my friend, she's always, she comments often, and was saying that, you know, she has all these pretty things and papers and all these things that she picks up and buys, obviously, and then she's afraid to use them, or like, you know, she gives it to somebody, they're gonna think it looks bad, or she's gonna think it looks bad, or, you know, maybe she'll be embarrassed by their reaction if they don't like it, kind of thing. And I was like, oh, that's so sad. You know, and I understand that. I totally understand that. So, and I think making videos, I pretty much just put that away because it's like, it's what I did and that's it, you know? And so if somebody wants to give a thumbs down, go ahead. If they like it, great, you know? But like, I don't dwell on it too much anymore, right? But that just comes from years and years of working with stuff and just being confident. It's going to be cute. That's why, like, when I watercolor, I just like add a little color with your alcoholic markers. It'll be fine, you know? And that's, instead of being like, oh, it has to be perfect, and then just being kind of like afraid of even trying, right? So, you know, it just, I felt bad. So I think what I'm going to do today is just make, and you know, it's funny because I was like, oh, I just got that A Year of Craft in, and that comes with a magazine. It tells you exactly how to cut your papers, exactly what to do. And I think and it reminds me, like, whenever I was first starting out, and I was always afraid of, even on a card, like, what goes where, how does it look, you know, that's why I do the rules of 3, like, if you have a triangle of things, it looks better, right, instead of just, like, 2 things lined up next to each other, or even 3 things lined up next to each other. They should be kind of here and there, or even if you're, like, stenciling, okay, a little bit here, maybe a little bit here, and maybe a little bit here, you know, so, like, in 3. It just looks better, instead of just, like, a patch here, or maybe here and here, maybe here and here is okay, but, you know, you kind of have to think about that kind of thing. So I always kind of keep that in mind. And now it's not something I keep in mind. It just happens because that's just how I work. Even if I wasn't paying attention, I'm like, oh, look, it's still, you know, I put it on pearls or rhinestones 3, you know, and maybe in a complete triangle, real, you know, tight. But usually I try to make them a little looser nowadays because that's kind of what people do, you know, make it a little more organic looking. It just comes with practice, and just do it, you know, and I don't know. So with this one, I thought, okay, we do have an example here of cards. And a lot of times you look at it and you're like, well, it's not really going to look like that because obviously this is like a digital mock-up. But I'm looking at this one. I thought this might be easy, sweet, cute. And I know sometimes, you know, I don't know where people are in their journey. Maybe they're starting out. Maybe they've crafted for a long time. So today's going to be very simple, die cutting, a little stamping, and it's going to be this right here with the embossing. So that's what I'm looking at. This is embossed on the back. Obviously, it's this folder. But if you want to get this through the Marquise, I've done it before where you do a little trick where you fold your card behind it and roll it through anyway, but sometimes it'll snag your card. So I'm just going to make a card front that looks like this. I was debating if I should stamp first or emboss first, but I'm going to stamp it first and just hope that I'm in the center, and we'll see what happens. And then I got even some flowers that are about the same color. Well, actually I didn't. I got pink ones. Oh, maybe I should switch it out for a teal color. Okay, so we'll do purple and like a little light teal, and then little green leaves, so I have paper for that. And then a white paper just for the embossing. And then this is, I think, the heavyweight cardstock from Hobby Lobby. So today's video will be real quick. I already cut a card base, and I cut it in this gray paper that Suzanne sent me. It's like a slate color I don't normally work with because I didn't have it, but now I do, and I thought, you know what, that might be pretty. Just, even though it's gray, just to pop it behind there, why not? Very soft gray. So there's that. There's this. There's the paper I was going to cut, but I'm going to grab another little teal piece. Actually, I think I can do that pretty easily. I kind of like the color they're using there. It's a little dusty. Pretty. And we need a stamp. So I am going to get the U were made for this. There's nothing wrong with following a thing that was already done there. Oh, so what I was trying to say is, it reminds me when I first started out, I used to do a lot of sketches. I would get sketchbooks. Them creating keepsakes. They're actually still right here next to me. Or page maps, I guess is what they first would call them, because they were first made for scrapbook pages, because that was like the hardest thing to design. A lot of times a 12 by 12, a big, huge piece of paper that you need to fill up. And I used to do that. So this paper is 4 1/4 by, I'm sorry, it's 4 by 5 1/4. It looks like it's a little bit bigger than 5 1/4. You know, my guillotine. She's crazy. All right. If you need to use a stamp precision press, that helps too if you're starting out or if you're not super confident. I'm just going to stamp it, but you know how I do. But, you know, if you have some kind of precision tool, that might be better. Actually, this is a little bit scary. This is a little bit scary. You know what? Because I do need it to be pretty centered. I'm going to grab... Oops, sorry. This guy. I got this a long time ago from Diamond Press. They sometimes have it on their site, and sometimes they don't. And what I'm looking at right now is... That's not too bad. Actually, I'm just trying to see if the stamp itself is centered. 1 and a half. See, oh, it needs to move over just a little bit. And see, I'm moving it because it has a sponge. So I can see from up and down, it's pretty great. But from this side to side, it's a little bit off. Okay. And then I'll move this over when I need it. Well, actually, I have to turn it over, so it doesn't matter. I'll readjust. And I'm going to use VersaFine ink because I like that. Memento ink stamps really well with words. And I'm just doing it in black, but you know, whatever color you would like. But yeah, so if you can get yourself some sketches, or even online, find card sketches. Just look up card sketches. And you'll find different things about that. I'm just trying to see if I'm still up and down. So what I'm looking at is that line and this line, because that's the 4 inches. And then just making sure left to right, I'm about right. I don't know if they still offer this stamping tool. They bring it back every once in a while, but so there's a couple things. I like Precision Press because, look at that. Juicy and pretty and just works. And since this is VersaFine, if I wanted to pop some embossing powder on this, it would stick to it because VersaFine is sticky. It's like a sticky, oily ink. And so it does take a minute to dry because of that. And so I'm going to hit it maybe with a heat tool because now I'm going to run it through my embossing folder and I don't want it to do anything, but it looks like it's okay for now. Just leave it for a while. And then I get a lot of questions too about inks. I have videos on inks. If you just look at maybe VianneyCreates inks and then see what pops up. Since then, the hybrid inks have come out, so I'll just talk real quickly about this because this is going to work up really fast. Something like this Nuvo hybrid ink pad, you can stamp with it. It dries fast, and which now I have discovered. This is a Jane Davenport one, a hybrid ink. And you can use it with alcohol ink markers, and you can use it with water-based markers, so that's really nice. This comes in tons of colors. So does this one, not as many as the Tonic, the Nuvo from Tonic Studios. So you can stamp with it like anything else, and you can also color and use it, you know, like anything else. If you're talking about distress inks, which are basically just water-based dye inks, like this, or the water reactive inks from Captain's Companion. This is Tim Holtz. These, if you put water on them, they are going to react. So they're not really the best if you're going to try to use, unless you're doing something fun, right? You want a background that looks cool. Then that's what those are for. But they're not really great to then go and watercolor with them or try to color them in with like a marker they're going to smear. With an alcohol ink marker, it should probably be okay, but it's kind of weird. Those are more for just playing with. You know, so there's a lot of questions I get like these all the time. The regular stamping stuff like this. I haven't tried these quick dry inks with, that'd be a good question. Like if you can use these and then use an alcohol ink marker, because they're water-based, so you think that you can use an alcohol ink marker, but I don't know. Crafts Companion has their own that says alcohol-proof ink, right? So kind of you're supposed to use that. It just depends. And then a lot of times if you're stuck, read the back of the thing or the back of the packaging, or see what the, especially right now, I don't go shopping really, so read the write-up for the product and see what it says. Okay, I think that's long enough chatting that this should be ready. This paper again is heavy-duty paper, heavyweight. It's a little bit heavier than your basic cardstock. And I'm going to pop this in here. Now this is going to push up. So, okay, so this is another thing. These are just little tips for beginners, I suppose. When you get an embossing folder, like most companies make it so that obviously you're going to put your paper facing up, like facing this pretty picture, but Crafts Companion does the opposite. So sometimes, even though this is the picture, it's going to be pushing into, which kind of, I guess, in a way makes sense because like what you're looking at pushes into, but just feel it. Where it's raised, that's going to be pushed up. What you feel raised, what you feel recessed, like this is recessed, it's going to get pushed into. So just make sure that your paper, especially if your paper has a direction, like what you actually want to be the top or the bottom, that you make sure you're putting it on top of the raised area. So this is raised, I'm going to put this on top of here. And then yesterday I also had an email from a gal that wanted to know, now what's a bummer is I can't see through this. So I'm just going to try to make sure it's pretty even here. About dyes and where you put the paper in relation to the dye. And I was like, you know what? I don't know if I talk about that often enough. So I will try to answer that for her today in this video. All right, and that's it for your embossing folder. And again, for the Marquise, they do not recommend putting 3D embossing folders through the machine. I know people do it, but they say no, so I will never do that. So this is just your basic kind of embossing And that's pretty good. I was gonna say, I don't know if I need to pass it through again. I can see it really well, so I'm happy with that. And we have our little sentiment. And that's it. So let me grab the paper that I thought I was like, oh yeah, I'll get the colors they're using. So I pulled out these papers, but I pulled out a pink, which is fine. But I just kind of want to show you what that might look like in real life if we just copied a design somebody had. So let me grab like a little tealy kind of green color. I'll be right back. It's so funny. I was like, I don't know if I have the right color. And so I pulled open my Year of Crafts. You know, it's right behind me. I don't know if you guys have watched my live. The most recent one, you can see everything that's behind me. I have the whole Year of Craft box behind me. And this was right on top. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's it. Very similar, at least, if that's not it. Okay, so, and then this little strip of paper actually will fit. So no need to use a bigger piece. So I'm going to cut 2 of these out. So it doesn't matter. Oh, the other question is, you know, these thin metal dies, if they can be any brand to put through. Yes. So if you have, you know, Martha Stewart, what was it? I said Anna Griffin. I was going to say Anna Stewart. Anna Griffin, you know, Crafter's Companion, LGRS, whatever, all these little boutique companies. Anything that's a thin metal die, it'll work. And the die, the cutting edge, that little decorative piece needs to face your paper. And then your cutting folder. And since this is, you know, I always, that's another thing I realized. I'm like, oh, I've been like, I'm just cutting this paper, as you can see. Showing you guys, sometimes I'll cut things like, there's plenty of room on here to add more than one thing. And if you want to stick it down with tape, you know, go ahead. But like, I don't have to just do one little flower at a time. And sometimes you can even double up. Just depends on your project and if you want it to look, if you just want to get it done, you know. If it doesn't matter that some things are, what happens is when you double them up, sometimes they get really pressed. So anyway, like with this one, I would probably do one at a time. One flower, I wouldn't double up my paper because, and what I mean by double up is like fold this in half like I did earlier for another video. And then run it through 2 layers of paper. Because the little stitching, you want it to look really nice. Look how cute. And then here's another one. And then I'm going to do it again. Oh, I didn't notice this one has a little hole. That's so cute. Okay, so you have those 2. I'm going to do it again. And then I'm also going to run through for 2 sprigs of leaf from the green paper that I chose, and I'll be right back. I have a little mess here now. Let's put these things away. Oh, I came across this little thing a friend of mine had given me on the channel a long time ago. Samu's Mama. So funny. And it just helps me clean up. And then I just realized it has a little trap at the back, because I was like, put them in here. I'm like, oh, it has a little recessed area that we can do that. I think she picked it up at one of the little like Asian markets. They have cute stuff like that. Oh, I think I hear my mom moving around. See? All right, let's put this here. So I've got to finish up, and actually we're pretty close. So here are all our little pieces. I mean, this took minutes, right? And so I'm gonna stick this on my card. My card again is a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of paper, just basically an A2 cut right in the middle at 5.5, scored at 4.25, and we're gonna orient it this way. So always check what the direction of your paper, because that's another fun thing that might happen if you stick it down the other opposite way. It happens. And I'm just going to apply this. Oh, this reminds me, the deluxe adhesive in the weekend bundles that Tonic put out. I guess it depends when you're watching this, but for this weekend, you know, March 11, 12, 13, 14, whatever it is. What day are we on? 12th. They have 4 of these in a bundle for like, I don't know, 12 bucks. I don't recall what it is because I have tons of it right now, but that is an awesome price. So I'll have the link for it in the description box too. And then, okay, so we've put this down. Now, you know, we can look at our image and think about, you know, did they pop them up? Do you want to pop them up? Do you want to just keep it flat so it makes it easy to mail without having to do anything extra? That's all up to you, of course. So let's just keep it real simple. So the little leaves, they have a little bit of a rounding, like a direction to them, but they put this one here. I mean, this looks so pretty already, and they put this one here, basically. And then we have our little flower with this little guy on top. All right? And the same thing for the other side. That's very cute. Okay, they did put this a little bit lower. I mean, if you're really looking at it and that's what you want to do, then I would definitely take a closer look. But again, this is a mock-up, like what they did here, so it's digital. I don't know if they copied it from actually something, so you know, it's a little bit harder to draw and say, okay, this is exactly what that looks like. And I'm going to keep it a little bit flat. I only put the glue with flowers and leaves. You saw I only put on the stick just a little bit because I like to make it look a little more organic. Maybe up here a little bit. And then that middle part can use a little rhinestone, so we are going to do that. But for now, you can leave it like that and not have anything else, and you're good to go. And let me see here. This one's about right. And I'm just going to stick this down here. It's funny because, you know, they actually did a really good job of that rendering because it's basically the same proportions, you know, as I look at it. Like where this leaf would hit, where that flower is, it's pretty good. So that's really nice. Again, I don't normally just go with what they're showing. So I've never tried that. Maybe I should turn this a little bit just so it's not so... And a little bit out. And maybe a little bit down this way. Alright. And this time I put the glue on here, I don't know why. And I am scalloping the flower so it's not just right on top. They both have 6 petals. I'm trying to offset the petals. And that is it. You know, it's a cute little card. Does it look like that? Pretty darn close, huh? Super cute. Now, it's pretty flat right now, but if you wanted to, you know, you can flip up your little petals. We could have messed with them before we laid them down, like I've shown many, many times before, just to give it a little life here. I'm going to grab my rhinestones and just add a little something. It looks really nice though, kind of plain like this. Maybe I'll just do like a white or a clear rhinestone just so, oopsie, I didn't put those away from last time. Silly me. All right. Look at that. A little pop of color, maybe a blue one. No, I kind of want to keep it subtle, so let me just use a little clear one. And that's just a little something else. And that's it, you guys. I mean, there's nothing wrong with following along with something that's already been created there. I think the rhinestones are still available as the new pack from Diamond Press on HSN, so I'll have a link for that too. But look at that. That little pop of rhinestone just makes all the difference. And there's your beautiful card. So, you know, I hope people try that. I think that's the thing. You just have to try. I think a lot of times we get discouraged, and that's what my channel is definitely geared toward, not discouraging people. I know there's some things you can watch and they make masterpieces and they're gorgeous, and that's amazing, and that's, you know, a talent, and that's awesome, but it's not really attainable for everybody. And what happens is people get discouraged. They don't even try, or they buy this stuff and they're like, oh, it's going to look ridiculous, so they don't try it. And that would be like the worst thing that could happen for someone to tell me on my channel. It's like, ooh, no. I mean, there are things that take a lot of steps sometimes, right? With like little, like, characters or like spellbinders things. Sometimes I have little flowers or whatever it is. So taking lots of steps I don't think is the same as being artistically like, oh, I drew this, you know, I watercolor this from scratch or whatever. I think that's different. So if you want to put the time in, but it's still doable, right? So that's kind of how I gear my channel. So I hope that you guys see that and understand that and appreciate that. I think most people do. I hope it's not patronizing in any way. That's why I'm trying to gear it towards, like, if you've already been crafting something cool, and then if you are kind of new, maybe it's a little bit of a challenge, but not so much that you don't want to do it, you know? So anyway, I just had a couple comments recently, and that kind of pulled me back a little bit, and hopefully this helped out. I don't know. And just keep that in mind. Sketches, card sketches, card recipes. Sometimes you can look at page sketches and you'll still find card ones, card ideas. So, you know, about how to place this, or if you have a die cut that might fit this middle section, okay, maybe you add a couple things here. And that's kind of what the sketches show you. So it is a weird thing because it's just like a circle and whatever. But okay, make something that, put something that fits within that circle, maybe a ribbon behind it or whatever. They'll show you different proportions, I guess is what the thing is. And it'll be nice, I promise you. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all at the next one. Bye now.